Hello, I hope you're doing well. This video is to explain part 2 of checkpoint 2 of the My Scientist Identity project. You should have previously already completed part 1, where we looked at the entry event and introduction to the project, identifying stereotypical features that society usually uses to describe scientists. And then we also should have gone through and filled out the chart explaining basic characteristics of yourself. Now, looking forward, we will be looking at the main question of when learning about different scientists and engineers, who do I relate to the most? Because everybody can be a scientist, and there's lots of different types of scientists and engineers within the world. And so, your directions today is you will be selecting 2 scientists or engineers to learn about, and you will write about who they are and how you relate to them. Eventually, in this project, you will narrow down to one single scientist and you will actually write a couple paragraphs comparing and contrasting yourself to this scientist. Now, remember, you are being graded on the cog skill of comparing and contrasting, and so you will need to be able to select a scientist that you do legitimately have things in common with and things that you do not have in common with them. On the checkpoint, you will put the names of the 2 scientists or engineers here in the box, and then for each scientist, you will be answering 4 questions about them. Now, make sure you use full and complete sentences with actual quality details for each question because you will need to be pulling from this information that you answer for part 3 and 4 of this checkpoint. This video will only be explaining part 2 though. There will be future information on part 3 and 4 later. So when you identify your scientist or engineer, you'll be answering the questions of what interests you about the scientist. Try to provide multiple details here. And what about the scientist that you can relate to? This would be something that you have in common or multiple things you have in common with them. How would you describe this scientist's life? This can be used as a point to describe more things that you have in common, or even coming up with ways in which you contrast and are different from them. And what challenges did this scientist have to overcome in order to be successful? Sometimes this question is a little difficult for students. I am happy to help you with this. If you need any assistance, just let me know. Try to make sure you come up with at least 1 or 2 valid reasons or ways that this scientist was challenged in order to be successful in their career. And you'll do that for each scientist. So for the second set, you'll have the same 4 questions. And eventually you will narrow down and pick one that you relate to the most. You'll type their name here in the green box, and that's where you will stop for this portion of the checkpoint. Now, when it comes to selecting a scientist or engineer, I know that sometimes it's hard to know names of a lot of different scientists. So we actually have a resource here that's linked, I believe in Schoology. This is what it looks like from my teacher point of view, but you have a resource attachment here that says scientist ideas/resources. You can click that, open it up, and here you have an entire document with links to databases of different types of scientists. You can see there are a lot of them. We start off with a few major lists, and then we go into individual scientists here. And so you can read a little blurb about each one if you would like. I'm going to show you the first link here, the I Am a Scientist. This is a website that features real life common day scientists that are not super famous that you have probably heard of in the mainstream media. So these are average everyday people, just like you and me. As you can see, you can scroll through, you can look at the different types of filters here if you would like. And you can scroll through and they tell you who they are, what they do, and an interesting fact about them. And you can see that there's a variety of different people. So if you select somebody that you are interested in, like, ooh, informational analyst, I am not sure what that is. Let's learn more about it. You can click on their profile, and there will be a lot of information related to their actual career, but also about them as a person and human being. And so they have lots of different portions of their profile, my life, my path, my work for you. And you can see here, this scientist also loves acting and comedy. They have some information about data storytelling. I guess they like travel and motorcycles, performing arts, and volunteering. And as you scroll down, it tells you more about them. They have an entire profile with pictures and also their accomplishments and their work. Oh, look, there's even a musical playlist for you to see what type of music they're interested in. So there's a whole database of these types of scientists that you can use to get you started. And then there's even another collection of scientists here before we get into the individual ones below. So go ahead and use this resource as a tipping off point. My last thing I'll leave you with is please make sure you choose scientists that you genuinely feel that you have multiple things in common with, as well as things that you contrast with them as well. That will help you in the future with completing this checkpoint in parts 3 and 4 at a future time. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.